Hello, beautiful soul. I am Claudia, and welcome to my podcast in which I am sharing love, light, and knowledge right from the source. I truly believe that there is a light in all of us, but sometimes we forget about it, we don't know how to get to it, and we just need a friendly reminder about how to get back to our spiritual home. And that is why I am creating this podcast to remind you on how you can find your way back to living in line with your soul. All the guests in my podcast are sharing their unique ways, how they found their way back home, and I hope they will be an inspiration for you to find your own. Hello, beautiful Clelia, and hello to you, listener. So, today we have a very special guest for me who I met when I was in Brazil a few months ago. And I remember when I met her for the first time because I was in my room having very bad time because I didn't meet any people who would speak English language. And just a few days before that, I was just thinking, I really would like to meet some English-speaking people. Plus, I want to find a therapist who's going to help me with going through some childhood traumas. And going back, so a few days later, I'm in my room, being again like in this very miserable state, being like, oh, there's no people here talking in English. And I go downstairs and I found that my landlord had a party and there were some people sitting over there in the garden, and the landlord said that, oh, these people are speaking English. And I was just like, okay. And I went back to my room because I was in the zone of having a plan because I wanted to do some yoga and I wanted to meditate. And I just this information didn't come to my mind. And this idea in my mind just didn't pop up that, wow, you have people now in your house speaking English, which you wished for. So I just went to my room and I stayed there. And then after a few hours, I went downstairs to cook something for myself in the kitchen. And I turned around and there she was, Clelia. And she just started having conversation with me with perfect English, and I could understand her and communicate. And it turned out that she's a therapist working with childhood trauma. So I was just so happy with the universe and with the God that they put her in my kitchen. So probably if she wouldn't be just put it exactly underneath my nose, I just wouldn't meet her at all because sometimes I'm just so concentrated or on what I'm doing in a given moment. So thank you universe, and thank you God for this opportunity. Clelia, we can start, and maybe we can start with the best story that I love the most, because I think every listener would really make themselves a little smile, and this day is gonna be so much better when they're gonna hear how you come to the spiritual path and the spiritual journey. And this story actually was the one that how I met Clelia, and how she just stole my heart, because I was listening to this story in the kitchen, just having my eyes wide open, because I was like, wow, that is such a great story. So, Clelia, I'm giving the microphone to you.
So, well, hi to everybody. And I remember that day. That was funny because when you, Claudia, come down and say, oh, I saw they speak English. And for us, it was a little bit the same. I mean, also we was, all people speak Brazilian, didn't understand almost nothing. So when I saw someone speak English, oh, we also speak English. And I was ready to jump in, and Claudia, right away. She was like so fast that I had the hallucination in one person. I don't know, maybe she was not even there, I don't know. So I remember exactly the moment that we met. And yes, it's this is the story. I tell this story so many times, and every time it's full of path and full of emotion, because I still remember that moment that changed my life really clear, although this happens more than 10 years ago, maybe 12 or something like that. And it's a funny story, yes, because before be what I'm today, I had a completely different job aspiration in life. I was, a manager with Italian, so with a lot of passion for the nice clothes, Prada, Gucci, high heel, and champagne, and first class, and all this world of manager money and success. And I was also doing very well. I cannot complain about it. Actually, I was really love my job, and I still, some part of me really love what I was doing there, and I know that I learned a lot that make me who am I also today, with the different experience. But when it comes to my change, it was because one night with a very good friend of mine, we had one of these very active nights, so we was drink a little bit more than usual and talking a little bit more than usual. And at one point, this guy told me, oh, you know what, I know a place where you go and you don't talk for 10 days. And I said, okay, wow. Crazy place, and the conversation started going on around this place, and then in one point he started to tell me, if you will go, you will die. So what do you mean? So yeah, because you talk so much and you cannot, stay quiet for more than 5 minutes. I cannot imagine you, stay in this place 10 days and don't speak with nobody. At that point, maybe the alcohol, maybe the situation. The discussion became a little bit more, happy. The ego come, and I was like, what do you talk about? Of course I can do, everybody can do these things. It's just about, your willpower. If you want, you can do it. And then it was, no, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. So eventually what is ended up that it's just for the proud, just for, this big ego. I said, you know what? I will show you that I can do it, and I will go. And so it was, okay, we will see, and there was this moment of, okay, now I will go and I will show you that I can do it. Then I went to sleep, and then the morning after I wake up and say, oh, fuck, man, I really tell to this guy that I will go in a place for 10 days and don't speak with nobody. And honestly, I didn't even know that it was a meditation. It was completely far from my imagination, and it was really, I don't even know what was the place. There was just the idea of you will not talk for 10 days. So then I thought maybe my friends will forget about, but nope, they immediately sent me a message. So when you will go to this place? I said, oh fuck, shit, now I need to go. So I start the process of searching where it was. There is a small process to, you need to do a small test to, see that everything is okay, and go to the process to book your space and blah, blah, blah. And so I did, and then I kind of forgot. And then after a couple of months, they went back to me and said, okay, next week you will leave ready for your experience. And I was, oh, fuck, really not prepared at all. And it was, oh my God, I need to organize my job and this and that, blah, blah, blah. But eventually it's okay, I will go because I want to show that, with willpower, everybody can do everything. So it was in this moment of my life where I was really more, prone to masculine, and really I will do whatever. I'm very, strong and powerful. I can do whatever I want. So I take my luggage, I take my train and arrive in this place in the middle of nowhere with not any information about this place, if not of, you don't talk, and there will be this meditation. And when I arrived with my zebra trolley, my Prada, and, my iPhone, and, my blonde hair, and a bit like over the line, over the top, and I arrived, they look at me and say, oh, madam, maybe you are in the wrong place. So I went more, why everybody is not believe me that I can do these fucking things, So I'm here, I will try this meditation. I was, oh, sorry, okay, don't worry. So I was really a white dot or a black dot in a white, paper, because it was completely different from everybody around me. But anyway, then so I went to the process and they asked my, information things, and then they told me, okay, now you need to give us your cigarette and your phone. I was like, wow. It was really, what do you mean I need to give you? It was not clear for me that it was silence from everything, included the phone. And at the time, the phone for me was my second brain. I mean, I was working with the phone. I was already, in connection with people. It was part of my job. So I had a moment of, oh my God, wait a moment. So I was trying to give the phone to this guy, and then something time, no, wait a moment, I take back the phone. I went outside and started to send the last couple of messages, the last couple of calls, feeling already panic about the detachment from the phone, these crazy things. But then eventually I went back, I gave my cigarette, my phone to them, they put in a box closed for 10 days, and my adventure started there. And it was a very crazy, incredible adventure. Of course, the first couple of days I was really enjoy the silence and the fact that I was completely out of the world. And then I was there, so I started to listen also what is this meditation? I started to practice, so okay, I'm here, why not to try? And it went until almost the end. In one point, I was ready to give up. It was, I think, day 8. And something crazy happens because I was outside and I was thinking, because I didn't want to lose, the face with my friends, because this challenge, but the people, the friends, there was this game about when she will come outside and when she will stay, there was this. And in the end, so I was thinking, I cannot lose my face. But if I will open my phone, they will see that I moved before from the place. So I was trying to create a situation how to move from the place without use my phone. It was a big challenge. And I was there thinking about. And then in one point, someone come to me. And it was like, are you thinking to go away? And I was, how you know this? Because there was only one person that can talk with you, that is the one that come if you need something or if you are in a trouble, So this was the help of the teacher. And I look at her, so how did you know that? I was thinking of that, Probably was really right on my face. I need to move from this place. I want to go away. So then she talked with me and she convinced me, said, look, you arrived at almost the end, finish. It's only 2 days. It's ridiculous that you want to go away in this moment and, why you do arrive at the end, will be nice, blah, blah, blah. So eventually she convinced me, so I finished, ended up the last 2 days, I was finished. And it was amazing because also the last day, I don't know if you never did Vipassana, but the last day there is this moment where you send love outside, because for 10 days you are in, and the last day you send love outside. And we was almost 100 person in the room, and this moment of send love was like a big explosion of energy. And it was like also for me that I was not used to energy at the time, I was not used to meditation. It was a very powerful moment, and I felt really like, whew. But however, this was not yet what the experience of heaven that make me change completely. Not completely, but you make me start, this process of change very deep inside. It happens after, when I was going home, I was going back, so we spent last day talking together and met the people that we spent this experience together, and then it was the time to go back home, so there was a minivan bring us to the station. And this moment, I remember that I was, come down to the minivan and look at the ride station. Ride station in Italy usually are very busy of people. There are people going everywhere. We are very frenetic, and everybody was, running to work probably because it was a Monday, so a working day. And I had this moment where for a second, or maybe less, I don't know, there was this time stopping where I felt myself in the center and everybody around me run very fast, like in the movie when really you see the protagonist still in the center and the people moving very fast all around. I had this feeling, and in that moment, that now 12 years later, I can tell you that it was a moment of present. I was really with myself in the present moment. But we are not used to it anymore. In fact, for me at that time, it was like an extraordinary experience because for the first time I connected with myself in the present moment. And for me, that moment, so short, it was so intense that it's like if I switch on the light on my, brain, and for a moment I see the reality, and then eventually this light went off. But the curiosity to see what it was, and switch on again that light, it was so big that slowly from that moment, I had this need or, the necessity, and I understand that there was something more about the life. And I was, okay, I need to see what is, because what I'm doing this moment is not enough, is not what is supposed to be. And since then, for some kind of coincidence that happens in my life, slowly my way went to more spirituality and become what I am today. And this meditation, it was the Vipassana meditation in the end. I did again after, I think after 2 years. I repeat another time, this time in India. Completely different experience. And it's something that I really suggest to everybody. Also, if you are one that never did meditation, not even know what is meditation, don't worry about it, because for me it was completely dark room. The only fact is you don't talk and you don't have your phone. Actually, I learned about the phone later on. But it really, not also if after that experience you don't want to meditate anymore, or you will not meditate anymore in your life, that's matter. Because that 10 day, it's really a moment where you kind of disconnect from the world, switch off a moment, take out a moment, the plug from the wall, and you can completely reset yourself. And whatever will happen, I'm sure that a kind of, different direction when you ended up this kind of experience will happen. Now, it's not that everybody like me then will, left the country and go to India for years and travel the world and still around the world and try to study, but it's an experience that can really bring us in the present moment. And this experience of the present moment, for someone that is not used to it, it's a trip. It's a really a change life experience, because it make you really perceive this reality in a completely different way. Of course, then in the time that when more and more we become present and more we learn how to live in this direction, it's a completely different experience. But that moment, the first time that happens, that we feel connected, we feel present, it's really something powerful that I really wish to everybody in the world, and to bring back to our source, our center, and feel the connection with the universe, that it's a powerful experience.
I love this story. I love it so much. Every time I'm listening to it, it's getting better and better. I just imagine you with this Gucci Prada suitcase going to the Vipassana center, and then all the people there in their yoga clothes and so calm.
Exactly.
I love this contradiction that is there.
Yeah.
So, after that, you went to India to become a kundalini yoga teacher. Is that right?
Well, the process was a little bit more long and more open to coincidence. I still call coincidence, but the universe, when we enter in connection with ourselves, with our center, and we trust and we really letting go, we surrender, the universe will bring us where we are supposed to go. So we bring us to our way, to our path. Okay, so for me it was like that. It was a path of surrender that again I can tell you today and use this word today about what it was, but if I look back in the day, I just follow some kind of, I don't know, instinct or again a coincidence. We don't really know what was going on. And it was crazy because, yes, I did this Vipassana, and then something happens. I lose my job somehow, or something happens because to my job. I lose my house at the moment, and there was no any connection that kept me in my country, in Italy at the moment. And I said, you know what, I will go for a trip. And this also is a funny story because I tell to my mother I have a holiday. I would take 3 months of holiday and go to India. You know, it's a place that I would never think to go. But in that moment, I don't know. So I go to India for 3 months and see what happens. And then when I would go back, I would decide what to do with the house, the job, and forever. While I leave Italy with my luggage, small luggage, because it was only for 3 months in India. And then I was back to Italy after 3 years with the same luggage. And my mother looked at me and said, man, these 3 months look a little bit more longer than what it really was. I don't know, I felt at the time was extremely long because instead of 3 months, I spent 3 years around India and Thailand eventually. So everything goes in this direction. It start like for a joke or just start for, I take some holiday. And then in India, I start to do yoga. And then from India was another important step to really change a little bit my personality and my idea of the world, because it was very shocking. Again, from Prada Grucci to the train in India, it's a shock. And it was like something, wow. But I went through, thanks to the boyfriend at the time that kept me grounded. And if it was not for him, probably I was taking the flight 2 days after and come back to Italy and forgot about it. But again, the coincidence was that I was with this guy and he helped me during this trip. And then we flew to Bangkok. We traveled in Thailand, and then in Thailand I find a school. And this school stick with me for almost 7 years. So I spent 7 years in up and down, because I was moving always also back to India or sometime back to Italy. But my main point was in Thailand, in Koh Phangan, where there was this school. The school was Agama, and it was an amazing place, really amazing place. Big place. It was very famous at the time, where they was teaching tantra, and also based on sexuality. But a lot of the workshop that I did, a lot of the study that I did, they was in this place easy accessible, because the school was thinking in a Western way, where there was the course, the workshop, the exam in the end, so very easy to follow for our mind, not completely chaotic like India. So for me it was a great place, because it was the union between the philosophy of or India and yoga, but with the structure of Western mind. So exam, school, course, workshop, everything was structured very well. So I find a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, and a big, transformation process happens there. I work a lot with kundalini traditional, and I'm very grateful for the school. And fortunately, a couple of years ago, like all the big school on sexuality, tantra, kundalini, there is some scandal going on. Of course, the guru of the school had some story going on. I don't want to go on this story in the detail, but apparently in the same time happens to different school. And if you look about this, when there is sexuality involved, there is always some shadow work that's going on. And at some level, I'm grateful also for this, because thanks to this, I start to bring more my attention and work to what is exactly the trauma, what is the shadow work, and how help myself, first one, of course, but then extend these to help the other around. And so these are now where I'm in the process. I'm still, of course, doing a lot of yoga, study the chakra, kundalini, and the energy, but also move a bit in what we call this horizontal path, that is the shadow work with trauma and try to integrate, because work with the trauma, work this shadow work, it's what is the goal. It's to take all this fragmented part of ourselves that we lost, with our life, and bring back to bring back to ourselves, and create again this unity with ourselves, and this great relationship to become again one. Because when we are one, then we can open to the rest of the world. So it's a process that need to be done personally to then open to the world. So all the process where I went through, and I'm still going through, bring me today where am I with the idea again to help people around with again the trauma release, or this shadow work and everything, to again become the best version of ourselves, because in the end is that hopefully reach illumination, of course, but the idea is more about become every day the best version of ourselves, and integrate this lost part of ourselves and come back in one. Because after that, we can also start to understand how there is no many, there is one. How we are connected with the universe. The universe is one. We have this idea of separation, where me and you and this and that. But eventually, we are one. And in the moment that we will understand this, all the philosophy, ancient philosophy, if you look all in a different world, in a different ways, that they bring the idea that we are one and we are connected, and everything is connection, everything is vibration and energy. So it's been a long path, and still I'm walking this path, but for sure I changed my life. Sometimes I think I changed my life in a more difficult way because I'm questioning more than before, but I'm sure that I'm more present with myself, and more present with the people around me.
Exactly. And you are aware. And I think being unaware and aware makes the difference, that when we are aware, we can just make our progress so much quicker within one lifetime, and not just waiting for the end of this lifetime. So congratulations. And would you like to say more about the things that you are working with trauma? I experience what you're having, what you're serving, the TRE method, along with this felt sense. And maybe you want to say more about what is the TRE sense and what is the felt sense, and how you join it together and why.
So if we want to talk about trauma in general, it's the definition of trauma. It's every event in our life that is overwhelming. So anything that we cannot somehow handle at the energetic, emotional level, or a physical also, it becomes somehow a trauma. So this to tell that eventually everybody in the world, in a different level, in a different time and moment, somehow we are exposed to some kind of trauma, okay? Because depends a lot also when this happens. For example, a very easy example to understand is when we are child, that we don't have a lot the capacity to process what is going on around us, because we are, just child and we just eat and sleep. If we are starving and we cry 5 seconds more of what is our experience, we don't have the capacity to understand that our mother maybe is prepared the food for us. And this, in that moment, for that situation, it can be thinking like a trauma. So it's really subjective, and it can happen in any moment of our life. What I experienced directly, for me, it was during one of these it was a big workshop going on in this school. At one point, I had a memory of my childhood that is come like a boom, a flash in front of my face, that I I didn't remember. It was, I was 37 years old, and I didn't have this memory on my brain somehow. It was there, hide somewhere, but it never really showed how. And eventually, again, all the coincidence of my life, this amazing coincidence, a couple of months ago, happens is that I had some physical problem at the digestive system. Very bad inflammation of my colon and very bad problem in all the digestive system. And I didn't know what was going on because it's come from nowhere. I didn't have any problem before. It just started. In that moment, I had this physical problem. Then I went to this process, and this memory come back on my cognition, on my awareness. And then, again, after, in the time, because we take time to really process, I would think I put everything together, and I was able to understand what was going on. So my body was tell me before going through the process that there was something that it was not something that it was wrong is not the correct word, but it was something going on that need attention. Okay, you need attention. You need to, when we have pain, especially the body is our system that is telling we need to put attention on that, to call our attention on that. So my body was bring my awareness on something, and then eventually my subconscious will bring up this memory of a trauma in my childhood. So then luckily, all the situation, take me in the place where I couldn't see everything from kind of outside and put everything together. So I heal the body to heal the mind, and I heal the mind to heal the body. And I start a process of feeling that it was in more holistic way. And this is where then I start to really work with, again, the trauma and the shadow work. Shadow work is when we look inside us and we look at the shadow part. We look at what we don't want, with what we hide usually, And so there are things that we hide conscious, and there are things that we hide unconscious. So when we start to do this kind of work, we go to open this box and see what there is inside. And for me, in that moment, I had the chance to work on myself and to experiment on myself this holistic way that to heal the system. Because we need to think about ourselves like a system. We are not body and mind. We are a system that work together. So I was doing something for my digestive system. Of course, I use diet. I use all natural stuff. I completely refuse any medical things because I don't believe in that. I'm not suggest to everybody to do that. This was my story. This is my path and my belief. So I refused the medical drugs that they was proposed to me because for me was I don't believe in that. And I tried something different, and I did this, diet. I take a lot of herbs to help me to detox the physical and to help the physical part with some process. And I start to work with the mind because I was need to also go back and process the trauma, the childhood trauma. So working together with the mental and physical level in a holistic way give me the chance to really heal at the roots. Because I heal the problem mentally, emotionally, and energetic, of course, and I heal the body. So these two things together, actually all these things together bring me today, after 2 years, have completely healed what was the problem. That for the medical sister, it was something that it was impossible because they told me that it was Crohn's disease. Now, I don't know if it was that or some just inflammation of the colon. But still the idea was you will never heal from that because the medicine don't know how to heal that problem. They don't know how it happens. They don't know how to heal. But if we have the chance to work in a holistic way, and again, I was lucky or coincidence again to have the physical problem and the mental problem come almost together, these memory that come back almost in the same time. So give me the chance, okay, these are connected. These are working together. And for me, it was very clear on my mind. I was really like, okay, 1 + 1 is 2. That's it. So in that moment, everything I did was to, heal from that trauma, that the physical effect was just alarm telling me, okay, there is something that you need to look at. And then, the healing process start going all together. So after that, I was, proof that this system is working. And when I went back to, the doctor and I do some exam again, some test again, and then they asked me, what did you take at which medicament, which drug? I said, look, I didn't. I work in a holistic way. I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot diet and this and that. And they were saying, the result that you reach in 8 months, there are people that maybe with the drugs reach this in 2 years if they are lucky. So I heal myself in, half of the time that usually they not even heal, because the fact is that with the traditional medicine, not traditional, with the, medical system, then I was supposed to take pills for the rest of my life to keep the system at the same level. But what I did, it was going to the roots, going to everything, it's where was start, and cut from there, take out the roots, and then the plant is not growing anymore. So this give me then the chance to, experiment this different technique. And the last thing that now I'm working a little bit more is still in development state, is not complete, because my goal is then to bring this and work with especially addiction. But it's the union between this trauma release exercise that work with the physical body and the focusing, that is also a kind of meditation that bring back ourselves to the body. And I put together these two. I didn't invent. There are two techniques that exist that different people create and just put together. And of course, a little bit more in the spiritual way, with more awareness about the present, the energy, also bring a little bit of spirituality in all of that. And I find that it's unbelievable, because of course I try and I see the effect on the people, how again, when we bring back the awareness to ourselves and to the present moment, how much healing this can bring to our life, ourselves. And again, I had the possibility and the chance to work really with all the elements present, because I had the physical pain, I had the mental trauma come up and put everything together. And I saw that most of the people don't have, all these elements already in front to work. Most of the people have only one. I feel pain, I don't know why, or I feel depressed, I don't know why. But I discovered that with this method that I'm using, also if you don't have clear what is the point where you want to go, it's really helpful, just because we come back to ourselves, to the body, and to the present moment. So this is the work that I'm trying to do today, because again, it's just, my experience that I try to expand to the other, to help also the other, because if it was working for me, maybe it was working also for someone else. Not for everybody, because we are all different, but, there is chance that maybe also someone else will benefit of this experience that I have. And I can see, some people tell me, the meditation is amazing, or some people prefer more the physical part. Some people want to go more deep with then spirituality, and then we start to talk about yoga, energy, blah, 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 or, depends. But I think it's very important, especially today, exactly today, with everything is going on in the world, and these 2 years of, pandemic, and this is a stressful situation that all of us, or most of us, have in somehow, live in and feel. And do this kind of work take time for ourselves, it's very necessary. It's necessary 100%. Most people don't think this. I don't have time. The businessman, the mother, whatever, they have this excuse. I don't have time. However, how many hours we spend on our phone? If we take the half of the time that we spend in our phone to do something for ourselves, for heal ourselves, the world will be much better for everybody, in premise for ourselves and then for the people around us. And this is what I try to bring around, and really the idea that with 20 minutes every day, 20 minutes of some small exercise, 20 minutes of meditation, whatever you feel on your system, it can really change your life. So, and I think it's important, to take the time for do that.
Yes. Oh, okay. So I wanna just to sum up for people who are listening that the method is trying, and actually it's showing that whatever we feel in our body, if it's some kind of pain, usually it has something in our emotion or something in our memory that is not resolved, that is some kind of blockage. And I can 100% say that it's for me true as well, that when there's something in my body, it's usually some kind of emotion that I need to work on.
100%.
Yes. So you can go inside and you can ask this part of your body what it wants to show you, or when it's there, if it's like a serious illness, what this whole illness is trying to put your eyes on, what this illness wants you for you to concentrate on. And I just think that the body is an amazing teacher, and it always wants to show us something and teach us. And if you are listening to this podcast and you have something in your body that is in pain, just look closer at it because you're listening to this podcast for some reason, and maybe that is the reason for you to go deeper into your body.
Yeah, I just want to conclude this because it's in fact it's very important. Remember that also there is that with the mind we are able to create a lot of story. Also the memory that we have from the past, it can be a story that our mind have created to protect ourselves. But the body can never lie. The body is an open book that if we learn how to read, it can give us all the answers that we need. Of course, sometimes happens that the body have give us some signal of something that is very far from our awareness, something that maybe happens in the past, that maybe we don't have memory. But if we give the attention, the love, the compassion, and we are able to look also at the pain and able to look at the shadow, this will give us a lot of freedom and a lot of answers. And this is the idea, to come back to the body. But I will push a little bit more, not only work on the body, but work in a holistic way. Don't stop only on one spot and use if the car is broken this piece, we change this piece, the car is going away. It's going, back to work. We are not like that. It's not that if we change a piece of ourselves, yes, sometimes happens. We change the heart, sometimes these things happen. But it's not a machine that where you change one piece and then the other one will be okay. We are a system, and a system is work when everything is in balance. If we lose balance in one of the part, everything will go fuck it up somehow. So when there is the body, go back to the body, but again, try always to go to the whole, to all the different level of ourselves. Body, mental, emotional, energetic, and work to in a holistic way. Don't look only, I feel pain there, I take a piece, it's gone. Check where it come from, why I feel in this way, what is try to tell me. And the body will give you answers, and then the next step is with these answers, try to work again to heal ourselves, and to start the process of healing, and to start the process of reconnect with ourselves, the integrate what we lost in the space and time, and bring back to the center.
And I remember when we had a session, and it was a felt sense. I was lying down, and I was supposed to concentrate on my body and how I feel. And there was this moment when I went from my body to my mind, because I started thinking about like, oh, I think this is this and this. And then the felt sense that I felt was gone because I went to my mind. And I grabbed myself so many times that sometimes I think I feel something. And it's so funny because that's how I can understand that this is just not true. It's false. Because if I think that I feel something, it's probably I don't feel it. Because if I feel something, I don't think about it. I just
100%.
feel it.
And again, the mind creates amazing story. It's really can tell us all the story. And the mind tell us all the story that we want to hear. So in this case, we will never really, not never, but it's more difficult to find the solution because we are look at the problem only from that direction. And especially when involve, someone else, like in relationship or in the family. So there is dynamic of relationship. If we are in the point where I'm right because this, and we are not willing to come out of our vision, maybe, see the vision from the other place also, and work in this direction. In one point, we will never find a solution because we stay on our idea that the mind want to tell that is like this, this like this, and never will change. It's not true. We can always change. Nothing will stay the same. And this is one of the rule of the universe. Everything is constantly changed. So we are constantly changing. We can become again the best version of ourselves every second of our life. So the work need to be done, yes. Sometimes will be painful, yes. But the rewarding, it will be, nice and beautiful. And so I think that do the work for ourselves, it's very important, and again bring us joy and happiness.
Yes, I completely agree. Okay, I think it's been an hour, and there has been a lot of information, and I hope that the listeners will had a lot of fun listening to all the stories.
Sí.
And Clelia, do you want to share where people can find you? And of course, there will be links in the description box. But what's the name of the YouTube channel when people can find you?
If you wanna reach me and us in this case, because I work also with Andrew, that is my husband. We have this Refeelyoga. Then you will write, because I feel again, refeel. This is the idea, and come back again, to ourselves. This is the idea behind our project, and we have the YouTube channel, and the Facebook, Instagram is all under the same name. If you wanna reach me directly, just write there, and we always are very active in the content and connection with the people around the world. And soon I really hope that we will go back to some workshop live. I'm working on that, and still you will find the information on Refeelyoga and some nice workshop back to person where we can hug, kiss, and cry together and heal ourselves all together, not only through the scream that in these last couple of years went more like that, but what to do.
Yeah. And now Clelia is in Mexico, so maybe Mexico was going to be the next spot for workshop.
Who knows, maybe Mexico, maybe other place. We are always moving, we are very nomadic from this perspective, but at the moment we are in Mexico and we are working to some projects, so stay connected on Refeelyoga, subscribe, like. So I thank you so much, Claudia, for this podcast. I really enjoy our conversation, like as usual, and I feel always very comfortable with you. Nice to share my experience with different people, with the idea that maybe someone, you know, can be touched and change, because change is possible always.
Yes. Thank you very much for taking the invitation. I love your story so much. Because as you said, the change is always possible, and sometimes you think, oh no, I'm like this, I'm Gucci Prada, and I will never become the yoga teacher. And then, yes, you can. Everything is possible. And I think it's so important to give this kind of inspiration to other people.
Everything is possible.
And when I have these different guests in my podcast, I'm always so amazed how different stories are being made and how we go back to our spirituality. Because for one person, it's going to be a book, other person is going to be kundalini yoga, and for other people, it's going to be with like a challenge with a friend because you're drunk, because you want to show them
Exactly.
off that, yes, you can do it. So
Yeah.
that's just amazing. I love it. Thank you very much for sharing on trauma, because honestly, for me, it was very challenging when I started to feel my body rather than think what I feel. So thank you very much, and I hope for all the listeners that you're gonna get inspired, and all the links to Refeelyoga are gonna be in the description, and see you next time.
Ciao, ciao.
And hear you next time. Thank you for taking this time to listen to this episode, Sunshine. I hope it brought you some inspirational thoughts, and I highly recommend you write them down or share them with somebody. That's how it will not be lost in your thoughts, and the high vibration will stay with you for longer. If you want to get in touch with me regarding spirituality, or you would like to have an Akashic Records reading, find me on Instagram, just type Light from the Source. I bless you with all the goodness and love.